So contributor to the ESCIM Guidelines.
What I am is a professor of intensive care, in charge of the nutrition program of the ICU, and member of the guidelines.
Okay.
But because that's exactly what I am.
Covers pretty much everything. I'll take my glasses off as well. You don't even wear glasses, do you? Amazingly. Good to go? Yeah? I'm just running anyway. So I'm here with Professor Mette Berger, who is Professor of Intensive Care at the CHUV in Lausanne in Switzerland, and also responsible for the nutrition program. And Professor Berger has also been a key contributor to the recent ESCIM Guidelines. So we've heard you present, and we're here, by the way, at the ESICM in Berlin, the 32nd meeting this year. We've heard you present a few times on the ESICM and the new ESCIM Guidelines. What do you see as the biggest impact they've made so far?
Actually, these new guidelines are something which resolve the multiple puzzle issues we have had until now. We have had many controversies. And why so? Because we had not understood to express that the patient's journey through the ICU is a very changing one. There is an early phase where the patient are unstable, catabolic, their guts are not working normally. Then, if they respond to your therapy, they will actually stabilize. Their metabolic functions will be better, will improve, the needs will change, and eventually they go into recovery, to anabolic phase, or they get more complicated and worsen again. So what we now have understood is that there are an early phase, an intermediate phase and a late phase where the needs do differ and where the metabolic response is different. And by taking this into account, we now know that due to the patient's response to disease with an endogenous glucose production, which helps him overcome the first periods of starving, if you full feed him, you're wrong. On the top of that, if you full feed, you may promote refeeding syndrome, because many of our patients come in being sick and not having eating capacity. Moreover, finally, by doing early full feeding, the compromised gut will not be able to accommodate that. So you may get into enteral complications. So what has changed is we say, okay, most of you don't have indirect calorimetry to assess the energy needs, so go cautiously. First week, 20 calories per kilo body weight, and you achieve it by day 3, 4 by a progressive increase. And if the patient has a non-functional gut, you consider parenteral nutrition. I think that is the summary of the guidelines.
It's the first time guidelines have really reflected the different stages of the patient's metabolic condition.
Yes.
Yeah? So what are the biggest challenges in implementing these?
Well, there are many beliefs and many trials have actually just made the appreciation of the results very complex. All the big trials have been carried out very professionally, but they have not considered the true needs of patients nor the stage of disease. And this is why many trials have either had no results or have had bad results in terms of increased complications. Now that we address this issue of the needs and try to go in individually, we have seen that the latest trials, which have been conducted with goals determined individually by calorimetry, have better outcome measures, being infection, being length of stay, and so on. So clearly this individualized nutrition is now coming in strong.
So therefore there's not one product for all intensive care patients?
Exactly, you got it. And it's very important, because the energy needs are lower during the early phase, to have products which contain high amounts of proteins, if possible well digestible. And later on we go in with products which still have high proteins but also energy and fibers. So we should go in also with fibers early on to maintain intestinal function.
So we've just come from a lunch symposium for the nursing staff. What do you see the role as the intensive care nurse in relation to nutrition, Professor?
I love my nurses because when they are with me on board, the patient gets fed, and they are the best to do that. Nutrition without nurses is then to fail. They are those who are sitting at the bedside, well, sitting, standing, being around the patient, who are able to see how the patient responds metabolically, if the gut is working, if the blood glucoses are in charge, if the catheter is doing well. I mean, nurse-driven policies are those who have the highest success because they are really there and they watch the patient. So for nutrition, it's exactly the same. If you have a nurse team which is well trained in nutrition, they will be able to progress and adapt to the patient. If you define exactly their roles and the borders where they should warn the doctor, because this is not anymore, let's say, a routine patient, they will feel safe and empowered to go within those limits, and this will improve the patient's outcome.
Would you expect every intensive care to have protocols that reflect the nurse's contribution, or is there another way?
This is absolutely necessary, and if the ICUs don't have it, they should implement it, because only if the roles are defined and you have standard operating procedures, everybody knows where their comfort zone is, and they can warn, I need the dietitian to help me, would the nurse say, if she doesn't get it right with the proteins, or if the patient definitively doesn't accept enteral feeding, we'll tap on the doctor's side and say, hey, maybe we should consider parenteral nutrition because it's not working in this patient, or non-invasive ventilation. So if you define exactly the roles, then the patient is taken well care of.
So it's been, what, 18 months, nearly 2 years since the guidelines have come out. How have they been accepted?
They seem to have been well accepted. And you know that on the list of authors, we have had people who have been representing different trends, and we were able to unite over this paper. So I think these guidelines finally are bringing a little peace into the world of nutrition.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Good, thank you. That was great. So the next steps will be we'll refine it, and I'll send the link to you before we put it on the website, and with a disclaimer to say that you agree that we put that publicly, and you can then there's a possibility to share by social media, so you can share just your piece by Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. So you can do that. Thank you so much.